Hello, sweeties. Welcome to another review of Half a Clue movie review. My name is Philip, and I'm brought to here today by
Ron. Hi, I'm
And-
back.
And today we are reviewing The Black Phone. It's good to finally no longer be talking to an endless void of anger, and now have another host to bounce off of. It's good, and and what a way to come back with The Black Phone, Scott Derrickson's new directorial effort, the one that he left Doctor Strange 2 for, which I'm very glad actually after seeing the film.
Yeah, it may have worked out better on like both accounts, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if Scott Derrickson had got to do what he wanted to do, Doctor Strange, it would have been like freaking awesome. Probably better than Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
But you know, we kind of got our cake and got to eat it too, so it could be worse. It's
Yeah,
pretty good.
it could be worse. If anything, that was good. I think like he also wanted to make it with these child actors, but he's afraid that if what's it called? He didn't make it in time, and also with the budget and timing, it would have been like he would have not had these actors. They would have been too old or something like that.
Interesting. I wonder. Well, whatever. We're not here to talk Doctor Strange, I guess.
Yeah.
But that would have been very interesting. Huh.
So The Black Phone is what's it called? It's a film. In what's it called?
Is it
It's pretty much it follows our main character Finney, who's a young student who lives in a neighborhood where young kid around his age and are disappearing at a periodic rate, and they're usually caught by a person they call the grabber, which is played by Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
And Finney is the latest victim.
Yeah, not the most creative name for a killer,
No.
but
But to
still.
be fair, he didn't name himself. It's like the other people that named him.
Yeah. He's got to go the way of like, you know, Zodiac or BTK or, you know, Son of Sam. Just like you got to name yourself, you know, you got to put it out there, dude. Otherwise you end up being called the grabber.
I know, because he has a cool fucking mask too.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It opens up.
Black balloons and like he's dressed like a magician. I mean, I guess that would probably give him away.
Yeah, exactly. We said black magician.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. That's hilarious. I think, you know, yeah, it is a pretty shitty name. It's a really fucking shitty name, but if anything, it probably helped him say more anonymous.
Yeah. But it was written by Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, who together they wrote a lot of different stuff, including
Sinister and Doctor Strange.
Yeah. And based off of a Joe Hill novel, which I didn't know that. I didn't know it was based off of Joe Hill, which, in case you don't know, is Stephen King's son.
Yeah.
Who is he's pretty good.
Yeah,
I've only seen one other adaptation of his works called
Horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with Daniel Radcliffe. Nosferatu recently became a series. Oh, and Lock and Key.
Oh,
the
very
comic
cool.
book series.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Horns, honestly. I thought the concept was really cool, and like Daniel Radcliffe did like the best he could, but it just like I feel like it just kind of like the wheels started falling off.
Yeah,
as the movie kept progressing, I was like, what the fuck is happening? But not in a good way.
Yeah, and apparently, we'll get into sequel speculation. Apparently, he pitched a sequel to Scott Derrickson. Scott Derrickson's all up for it, and now that the film. And bravo, by the way, to movies this weekend. This is the first weekend since 2018 that we had 4 films make over 20 million at the box office. Elvis, Top Gun, Jurassic World, and this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this one was even in that conversation. Like, that's great.
This film had like a low ass budget, like 18 million or something, and it's already made back his budget and shit, which is nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool.
So sequel, here we come. Hopefully
I mean, that's
it's
kind of
better than
typical.
Sinister 2.
I was gonna say it's kind of typical for a Blumhouse film, though, right? Like they're usually pretty low budget,
Yeah.
so they usually make their money back. But yeah, that's great.
It's actually good with this one, and this one deserves it. Unlike some other, you know, like Fantasy Island type of Blumhouse fucking film.
The plane. Oh wait, no, different fantasy.
And you know what crazy thing about C. Robert Cargill before we move on is that he was a movie critic for like Ain't It Cool News and stuff like that.
Wow.
And then he just happened to meet Scott Derrickson, who was a fan of his movie reviews. Yeah. And on the spot, he just pitched him he's like, what if like a murder mystery writer was watching videotapes or film reels of like people getting killed, right?
Interesting.
And then that's how he became a writer.
And I love Sinister too, by the way. That was also one of those like horror films where I was like, now this is like very refreshing, kind of like, oof, like very bold, very cool film. I liked it. Ending was
Yeah.
Mixed, but
Yeah.
like,
But the first two, like especially the when he's investigating and looking at the films, that's when it was
yeah,
pretty compelling. Yeah, this one though, like okay, I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the trailers. The posters were okay. And I was kind of I don't know, like Scott Derrickson is kind of mixed for me. Like I kind of enjoy Sinister. Oh, I just recently watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I
oh
actually
yeah,
really did enjoy. It's a pretty cool early feature that he did.
yeah, it's a classic.
And he got screwed out of his money for that film too.
Dang, I didn't
Yeah,
even know that.
it was like $19 million budget, made over 120 mil, and he got like nothing.
Dude, Exorcism of Emily Rose though, that movie, like, it's one of those early horror films that just scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like I always heard about it. People would talk about it. Like, it's so scary. And I'd see like little bits of it because I was like, I wasn't brave enough to watch like scary films yet. But like that one, just like it got so under my skin because they're like it's based off of a true story, which it is. But the way that it's presented,
It's like
really
a
well done.
and I like that it's an interesting take. He always does something interesting with his horror films. Like
Yeah,
Sinister is like what's he called? A person investigating the murders and eventually becoming a murder victim himself.
yeah,
And but watching the film reels, and then The Exorcism Emily Rose is an exorcism movie presented through a legal format.
yeah. And you get to see both sides. Is it real? Is it not? You get both arguments presented, and you get to leave it up to yourself to decide. And both sides are horrifying.
Yeah.
Whether it was true or whether it was a real exorcism or not, the truth is still this woman died, and it's tragic and horrifying. Like regardless. But anyways.
And in
Black
this
Phone.
one, the interesting thing he does is the premise essentially is the victim, what's it called? The victim has a potential chance of escaping by contacting the previous victims of the serial killer, which is cool.
The shinning.
Yeah, it is. That's you know the thing is, the shinning Simpsons bit like came to mind as soon as he picked up the phone. It started, and then not even that, just like when the kid, the other girl also has like the ability to kind of like sleep dream and have dreams about the future and past.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so the shinning, right?
Yeah.
This is hilarious. And I gotta say, like, it's at first I was like a cool premise, but how is it gonna fuck it up in the end? And I was at the end, I was like, wait, whoa, it's not. He didn't fuck this up. I was like, this is like, if anything, I feel like this is like the evolution of Scott Derrickson's filmmaking that I appreciated. Like, it's like he's kind of not saying like it was a complete slam dunk and home run, but this was like everything that I kind of liked about Sinister and less of what I didn't like. And all his filmmaking has improved, even with like a small budget. Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, I don't think the ending to Sinister was bad by any means.
But it was just,
yeah,
I think it was not nearly as compelling as the first 2/3.
Yeah, it was just like the weakest aspect of it. And with something like Doctor Strange, where it's like that's just it's a Marvel film.
It's a Marvel film.
It's gonna end how it ends. but no, yeah, I agree that this was. It does feel like his most. Possibly his most like complete film.
Yeah, his most assured effort too. I think. Yeah, the most confident filmmaking from him.
Yeah. Seems like he's really he had like a real vision for it, and he went for it, and it's very solid all the way through. And interweaving those like supernatural elements into it, while still keeping it like feeling like fairly grounded and like and harrowing for like this kid. It's a balance that's well struck.
Speaking of kids, I gotta give a huge shout out to the two main the main stars of this film, Mason Thames as Finney and Madeline McGraw as Gwen, the two brothers and sisters.
Both really good. They crushed it.
Especially Mason Thames.
Yeah.
Oh god, that kid was like it's weird. Like I have a problem with a lot of American child performances. For some reason, fucked up European art films, they get it right. I don't know if they like legit traumatize their child actors to get those emotions, but they always, the dialogue seems extra forced, or it's adult dialogue delivered by a child because it's written by an adult writer who has no idea how to write kids.
Yeah.
But in this one, I mean, there's a little bit of that going on, but then the kids sell the lines pretty well, especially emotionally and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And especially Mason Thames made a lot of his dialogue, a lot of moments, a lot of his emotions and expressions like very effortless, where I wasn't disconnected from what I was watching at all.
Yeah. And Madeline McGraw, who I think sells a lot of like the real high emotional scenes too, where like, she's dealing with her father who's like an abusive drunk, and everything, and just that one scene where he's just like,
Oh, when he was like,
dreams
about
aren't
to,
real,
yeah,
and like it's just like
uh,
your dreams aren't real, and it's really like it's a tough scene to watch, honestly, because obviously he's beating up his daughter and everything, but I mean she sells it
Oh,
so
yeah.
well. And then also same thing with Mason Thames, who's kind of just standing there, and you see he's like got that angry rage, but like fear, like all at once. Like it's just emanating from him, and it's just like, yeah, just really well done.
Yeah, he was great. Mason Thames. I was just like, when I was watching, I said, I've seen this kid from somewhere, and I was like, oh, it's the kid from For All Mankind, which we'll cover eventually on the shows, that Apple TV Plus show. What if Russia landed on the moon first?
Oh, that one. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
He's really good in that one too. Like this kid's got a future. Fuck yes, I would love to see this guy
Nice.
eventually be Doctor Strange's kid or something like that. You know?
Yeah, I don't think Scott's coming back.
I kind of want him to. Yeah. Okay, and let's talk about Ethan Hawke, which is I think this is one of his first villainous roles, because I think technically they shot this before Moon Knight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And at least that one was more like sympathetic villain or whatever.
Yeah.
But this one's like a straight up serial killer, and he was very hesitant to take this role because
Really?
he said that like he felt as if a lot of times when lead actors take a villainous role, then eventually the audience will no longer be able to see them as a lead actor, and he'll get less opportunities or something like that. They'll carry that forward with them, like kind of like Jack Nicholson. After he said that Jack Nicholson effect of The Shining, that after The Shining everybody assumed he's gonna go crazier whenever he smiles. They think of The Shining, and he didn't want that to happen because of this film. But eventually Scott Derrickson on his two knees was like, please motherfucker. And then he did, which was like really good. And even though like most of his face is covered just with masks, which is expertly used, by the way, of like depending on the emotions.
Yeah.
He sold it. He fucking was great.
No, yeah, he was great. I'll say like he didn't really like blow my hair back or anything.
Yeah.
But I think he was very effective.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
He added like kind of a level of gravitas that this film kind of needed, like from credibility. Because other than him and Jeremy Davis, is like most of the actors are relatively unknown, except James Ramsone, who was also in Sinister and was Ed from It, right? Chapter 2.
Yeah.
But
he's great, honestly. He
James
he was hilarious as the coked up brother who is like connecting all the dots, and he's like, it's gotta be happening here. And then when he finally figures it out, he's like, it's like
it gets his head sliced in.
Yeah, it was one of those few moments of levity in this film, which is like, about child murder. So,
like that was fucking that's like hilarious. And you know what? Oh gosh, the and another brief shout out is the friend, I think Robin.
Oh yeah, like
Robin, Miguel, played by Miguel Cazares Mora. He, like I said, not amazing acting, but like his character, like kind of definitely left an impression that and I didn't even know if behind the scenes in an interview I saw that Scott Derrickson said that initially you only heard his voice, and he didn't show up at all in the ending or anything like that. Like he didn't physically give them training for the how to hit, put the sand in the phone and hit it. They added that in while filming because they were like, I really like Robin, I really like this character, we should probably have him back. And then so they legit flew him, and they took whatever, probably fired a couple PAs, use their salary to pay for the flight for him to come in, and I think that worked. I think because that scene added a lot of weight to the end, especially like and that was what he used to finally fuck up the grabber.
Yeah, absolutely, because he was like really his only friend at school, and them having that like moment to like reconnect and everything before like the big climax. It was just really nice to see. It was kind of cathartic just to see them like together, and like him training him and everything. That was awesome.
What did you think of like the victims, like them, and like the structuring of the film? Because like it's almost like each victim gives them like, it's like almost like a domino effect of like writing, where it's like each victim gives a little thing that all culminates in how he eventually defeats the grabber. Yeah,
no, that was great. I love that it's like they were, like you said, each of them was giving him like a different kind of tip or something that he can do to figure out a way to get out of there, and he fails like again and again and again, or he just literally runs into a wall at some point where he can't get over it. But ultimately all those pieces adding up to his like final victory and escape, super satisfying. It was like, oh yeah, like that's how you like really just round it all out. And each victim again having their own story and focusing a lot on the victims themselves and like giving them some actual weight and like fleshing them out a bit, like added a lot to it. Where it's like you put a name and a face to like the kids who were kidnapped and killed, and it's like, and it makes it that much more heinous, whatever Ethan the grabber did, while also just making it so much more satisfying and that feeling of victory when he finally gets his comeuppance through something that each of them was able to contribute.
And that was good.
Great.
I think that's like an improvement on both C. Robert Cagle and Scott Derrickson's writing and stuff like that. It's like this one felt like except like honestly nothing, like everything felt very carefully coordinated and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was very satisfying to see. Okay, let's get into kind of maybe stuff that we didn't like so much about this film. And part of it was the finale. It was even though I think the finale overall was really good and I was able to let this logical thing fly. But I think the scene where he had the telephone cable kind of wrapped around Ethan Hawke's neck.
Yeah.
And was able to snap it pretty easily.
Yeah.
It did really stretch the realm of this reality quite a bit, where I was like, this kid Finney, who he's this really small scrawny guy, and Ethan Hawke being a full grown ass adult, but like I said, it's like a minor squibble.
Who they show was able to take on like literally all the toughest kids at the school. He like was able to kill all of them somehow. So yeah, it's like to be fair, he kind of does outsmart him, like break his leg and
I got all that part, but just like the actual breaking of the neck.
Yeah, where he was like, it's just like as he's choking him out with the telephone wire, it's like that would probably snap long before, right? Like you'd imagine, right? But I don't know, maybe it's capable of doing that.
Like I thought what he was gonna do was just literally smash his head in until like I don't know, like he bleeds, right?
Yeah,
or something like that. That's what I thought was gonna happen. I didn't expect the phone cable. That kind of did really stretch it, and I think
it was all right though.
Yeah, like I said, it's a quibble. It's a quibble at best. Any other like quibbles or flaws you had with the film?
Honestly, not really overall. I mean, I think it was just
major, right?
Yeah, nothing major at all. Honestly, it was it's just really well done. Like acting across the board was great, and I think it was just shot so well that it's like hard to find anything. And the writing again was really solid and tight. So yeah.
And a solid 1 hour and 40 minutes. And then we're going to talk about Elvis in a bit. I enjoyed Elvis, but by God, I was very appreciative of this film being as tight as it is.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And Mark Corvin, who did the music for Cube, The Witch. Oh, fucking love the score for The Witch and The Lighthouse. Bro, he killed it again in this one.
Yeah, one of the pioneers right now of modern horror, like
ambient
music
scores and stuff like that.
Exactly. It's like he has his whole nightmare machine. Go look it up. Look up his nightmare machine that he uses to make all the scary noises and sounds. So as soon as I started hearing it, like in the opening credits, I was like, "That's got to be Michael Corvin," and that's awesome. That's you can really recognize him. He has that distinct sound and feel to his scores that just is carried through. But it's so effective. It's great.
Yeah,
love to hear it.
And the cinematographer who's up and coming, Brett, what's it called? Jukiewicz, who's like kind of been kind of making himself known in different horror properties, like Ready or Not and Scream, which kind of had like a nice clean look to it.
Yeah.
Same thing for this nice clean handheld camera work. And even he did the Stranger Things season 4, the episode where running up the hill, he did this. He DP'd for that too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guessed that. I could see Ready or Not. There's definitely like that kind of, I guess it's a LUT maybe, where like that greenish orange kind of look to it, which was great. Scream 5 I thought also looked really solid. But yeah, no, I think this is probably his best one, or at least the most visually appealing one. I think probably this one next to Ready or Not. But yeah.
All right. Any last minute thoughts before we get to ratings?
No, I'm ready to go.
Okay, I think this was good. I think honestly, I would put this on the shelf. I really enjoyed the film. I would love to see you watch. Actually, maybe that's a little too high. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna commit to it. On the shelf, I enjoyed it. I really had a fun time watching it. It was great. It took out the taste of Lightyear. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it premium streaming, even though I really had no negatives to go on. There's nothing really about this movie that like super stuck out to me that I'm just like, yeah, man, I gotta watch this again and again. Like this will be something I think would be fun to put on, like, you know, in autumn or whenever leading up to it. And it was great to see a nice horror film come out in June. But yeah, I'll say, yeah, it's premium streaming.
All right, sounds good. Thank you guys for another episode of Half a Clue Movie Review. And please stay freaky deaky and call every single phone you can and love your mom, love your dad, and say goodbye, baby. Goodbye, baby.
Bye, guys. We love you. Bye.